very much for joining us on this live broadcast for Mahala Monday. My name is Dougal, and with me as usual, Rhoda.
Yeah, good morning and welcome to Mahala Monday, everybody. Yeah.
Now, we're super excited to have you on this one because I've been actually looking forward to this specific episode for a while. And this is something that is going to be very, very exciting and then definitely really describe the essence what Mahala Monday is all about. But before we get into that, let me just quickly remind you, of course, we are broadcasting right now live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And if you are a prospective business owner, you are an entrepreneur, you've got an existing business, this is definitely the show for you. And we're going to touch on all sorts of things related to that. And as always, we invite you to be part of this live broadcast. So any questions that you have, of course, as you know, we're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube at Nikkei Productions. Any comments that you have, that's our social media platforms. You post your questions there and we'll pose it to your guest. But Rhoda, today's episode, we're talking assistance in business. We're talking all of that. We know education is important to everybody at Nikkei, but more importantly, entrepreneurship.
So true. That is so true, Dougal. You know, at the end of the day, once you're done studying, a lot of students and even people that actually studies at a later stage have to decide, you know, how do you start a business? What do you do? What is the steps you need to follow to actually make a successful business? So, this is where OptiGrowth comes in at the end of the day to be able to make those decisions and decide, you know what, everybody can be an entrepreneur, but how do you actually manage your business?
And this is where the show is really, really interesting. So as Rhoda mentioned, of course, we're going to assist you. So this is the one exclusively and for everybody who wants to be having their own business at some point. Even if you have a business right now and you're thinking to yourself, you know what, how do I get to the next level? How do I excel my business? How do we propel forward? And all the, of course, the goals that you have for your own business. Even if you don't have a business, but you're thinking down the line, I want to have a business. How do I go? And I know what is daunting. And we hear this all the time. Entrepreneurship is the backbone to any economy, and especially us now in South Africa, a developing country. We always encourage entrepreneurship. And we hear this from everybody, from mom, dad, to the president. We all want to have our own business. So today's guest is going to be really special.
Oh, yes, he definitely is going to be. And today we will be having Henk Stander from OptiGrowth that will be able to give us a bit of information on business, the troubled times we're sitting with, and then being an entrepreneur himself, giving you the correct answers, questions, and then basically trying to answer as many questions as possible.
So this is definitely you got to join in on. So joining us from OptiGrowth is Henk Stander. Henk, good morning, and thank you so much for your time and coming on to Mahala Monday.
Yes, thank you very much. I really enjoy talking to you guys. I'm looking forward to your Mahala Monday efforts, your opportunities to get into the wider marketplace and specifically to talk business. I think in South Africa today, it's very difficult to find your feet in a difficult economy, and where we can be of assistance, gladly we will.
Oh, that is absolutely awesome. So just to remind our viewers on YouTube, you can post your questions on our YouTube page as we're broadcasting live right now on YouTube, and that is at Nikkei Productions. So any comments or questions that you have, Henk Stander is here to fill them in and of course cover that blanks for you. Now that is exactly where I want to start off with, because Rhoda's an entrepreneur, you yourself entrepreneur as well. How important, Henk, do you think is entrepreneurship for a country going forward, and especially South Africa? And I'm just talking in normal times. I'm not even referring to COVID times now.
Yeah, I think we are very fortunate in this country that we have this entrepreneurial spirit alive and well. It is absolutely a fact. We're one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world. We've got an infrastructure of small business environments, support structures from government, support structures on all different levels of business assistance that we can rely on. The trick is to actually take that entrepreneurship, that wonderful feeling of excitement when you have an idea, and to turn it around into a structured business process so you can actually get the benefit, the financial benefit, of course, but also that feeling of achieving something, of being proud of building a brand and building a career. And I think while everybody will talk about a high failure rate of business, true, people do struggle, I think we sometimes miss the plot to also talk about the successes, So I appreciate the opportunity to share a few thoughts around it.
Excellent, and we're looking forward to that as well. So there you have it. That is what OptiGrowth is all about, of course. And Henk, this sort of kickstarts this conversation with you right now this morning. There's a lot of people, of course, looking at trying to start a business. There's already a huge number of businesses, small, medium enterprises, as you alluded to. When you look at OptiGrowth, are you, as OptiGrowth, would you consider yourself more a support organization to help current businesses and of course take fresh startups by the hand, or would you consider yourself more an incubator type of support?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we basically focus on customer support. People have invested in business structures. They've decided that they're going to take a step away from just toying around with ideas. So that entrepreneurship has now grown into a real involvement in business. And they started selling products, they started scaling the business forward. They're starting to look at how to make the most money out of a product by knowing their cost structures, by going forward. And in that event, they realize that they can do with a soundboard, So we all need at some stage or another to talk to somebody about what we're doing, our feelings, our aspirations. So I would say that businesses such as mine, we have such an opportunity in this country to help people to grow and to scale their businesses. There are many organizations that does incubators, that does specific projects perhaps, that take a certain aspect of business and hone the skills for the entrepreneur. I would say we rather take the entrepreneur who's now taken a step to structure, to form a business, and then help them to grow that. So we were very much onto the supporting side of the business, that trust relationship, I would say.
And that is definitely an important part as well, because that is, we need all the support we can get. And I like the fact that you said that you are a sounding board as well, because that means you're working really hand in hand with the business as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed on the slide the topic is leadership today. And if I just think of leadership in business, you cannot run a business without effective leadership. And sometimes we don't realize that we are actually, in fact, leaders in the environment that we operate, or that we actually sometimes need a bit of help, So in the older days, many years ago, when I started business, we didn't have internet as an example. We had to literally study books. We had to go to universities. We had to do the hardcore learning on how to run a business. And mostly we had to learn from experience, because that's the whole thing about business is, when you start getting experience, you need to learn from your mistakes, from your success stories. And then leadership will start developing. And when you have that leadership, you actually need to exert and share that, be transparent to your structures to actually help you to formulate that business in a professional way and to actually grow.
That's so true. I can vouch for that one, Henk. And, having been part of OptiGrowth as well, you really think at the end of the day that you're running a business for all these years, and as a leader, you thinking you got everything covered. And having to spend time with OptiGrowth, I had to come to realize that there was a lot of things that I needed to cover as well, my basis in that. So you know what? I do agree with you, and you need that support, and that's what you're all about. So could you tell us just a little bit the introduction just to OptiGrowth, if you could?
Yeah, so we are very aware that without entrepreneurship, that entrepreneurial thinking in a business, it's going to be very difficult for a business owner to participate or even compete in a specific environment. If you're not an entrepreneur by nature and you feel it's not for you, then rather go and invest in the stock exchange or go and work for a company, build a career within another organization. There's nothing wrong with that. It's who we are as human beings, but I think we have to get that knowledge of ourselves. To what extent am I prepared to think out of the box? And if I am, then to realize that whatever I think and whatever I do, I need to put structure behind it. So consider an entrepreneur starting a certain project or a certain business, and he's man alone and he's running around 24 hours a day trying to get the product developed, trying to sell it, trying to do the administration around it, mostly trying to advertise it and market it as well. And consider that guy being burnt out before he's a few years or a few months into the business. So the structure that you create around your entrepreneurial thinking is absolutely critical. And for us as OptiGrowth, we understand an entrepreneur may not necessarily be the kind of business person that one needs for a mature business environment. And we assist them to build that structure around them, to protect them, to help them to maintain the entrepreneurial thinking and keep it alive. And then work together with a structured business approach towards actually getting a goal in place.
Now, obviously, Henk, just considering that will most definitely depend on business to business.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got a wide range of company cultures. We've got all different kinds of age groups when it comes to business ownership. People that start with nothing, literally bootstrapping the business. People that have got funding and they start off with the amount of money they can invest in or a particular service. But throughout all, I would say that it ultimately falls on the leadership of the business, the person who's got a dream, who has the hope, and how that leadership is infiltrated through, driven that entrepreneurial thinking. There's a good saying that an entrepreneur wakes up every morning excited and afraid at the same time. And it's very true.
So true.
I've been in business for years. I'm in business for many years, and I'm just one of those people. I was just born. I cannot work for other people. I cannot listen to people telling me what to do. So some people may say the shortcoming of my modus operandi. Other people will say, but that's what you need as a businessman. Whatever it is, you need to understand who and what you are. You need to know your personal values and then bring that through in your product. The more you sell yourself, the more you bring through your aspirations as a human being, and you can put a brand to that and you can grow it with a structured approach around it. Have people that you trust around you that you can soundboard with, and more than anything, be prepared to learn. You know, entrepreneurs, I don't see an aged entrepreneur. Quite often people think entrepreneurs are youngsters coming hot off the schools and study programs perhaps. I don't see it like that at all. Entrepreneurs can be any age. The good old story goes that Kentucky Fried Chicken was started by Mr. Kentucky himself at the age of 65. You know, so he had a bee in his bonnet then. He was actually a retired guy and he had some financial problems. And he started late age with a brand new idea, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I don't know if you guys know about it. So for me, entrepreneurial thinking is definitely something that's very different from one business to the other. And you need to find the goodwill in the business to be able to drive through the difficult times.
Yeah, you know what, I like that. I like what you are saying, and I yes, I'm very familiar with Colonel Sanders' story. He was in his late 60s, and he traveled really the length and breadth of his country with a pressure cooker and just cooked his chicken, and eventually it is the brand that we know. And do you find, I mean, and we're just touching base maybe on your client base right now, do you find that people that are knocking on your door and seeking the assistance from OptiGrowth are much more mature, considered to be younger?
Yeah, so I would say that as our name started spreading around, it shifted a bit. So initially when we entered the market about 8 years ago or so now, there was a lot of consultants, good experts around, coaches, life coaches, business coaches, guys who came from corporate environments, you know, they had the credentials and all that sort of thing. In the modern era, however, what happened was people find it difficult to scale down. So consider a consultant, a marketing consultant coming from a corporate environment, and they have to work with an entrepreneur or entrepreneurial spirit within the organization that doesn't have the budget, that doesn't have the experience perhaps. So what we found was there was a gap in the market to bring these corporate thinking and methodologies, how to run a business, you know, to bring it down to a level where people could actually make use of it without having to be an experienced business. So we started drawing the attention of beneficiaries to development programs, transformation programs, where we could actually, with our methodologies and tools we use, help people to get to the next level at a much more calculating and perhaps affordable pace. So definitely in the beginning, perhaps it was more corporate businesses. In the recent times, or in the recent 2 years or so, it's a much more combination of young entrepreneurial startup businesses right through to big corporate suppliers and those sort of companies.
Okay, just looking at your slide that you've got on at the moment, you're talking about your focus areas. Could you give a bit more detail on what your focus areas are when consulting a business?
Yes, so I think it's a bit slide later on, Rhoda, but it's very definitely there need to be a focus on specific aspects, those key aspects that make your business work. So as we sit talking right now, we are hosting a webinar, we're hosting a topic here that costs money. So nothing comes for free. The setup, the paying for a Zoom license, the time that we have here, the laptops and kind of computers we use and everything, even the bandwidth of Wi-Fi we're using costs money. And if you do not have financial management as a key focus area of your business, you're starting off already in the wrong direction. The sooner you can implement accounting controls in your business, the better. No business is small enough not to have an accounting system. Any business, any idea, even before you even register a business, make sure that you understand how are you going to control your financials. So financial management comes to mind very quickly. And then there are some other pointers that we also focus on, which I'll explain a bit later.
All right, and Heg, just looking at it, I get what you are saying in terms of starting the business and sort of managing accounts. That is really, I suppose, the bottom line of it. And that is the same. Doesn't matter of the scale of the business.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that determine the scale of the business?
Yeah. So whether it is just a sort of one-man band business compared to a bigger business.
No, for me, there's this connotation to small business that sometimes I get upset about. People talk about small business as though it's almost like a derogatory term, and maybe not meant like that. Small business takes exactly the same challenges on that any bigger business will take. As an example, you still have to sell. Doesn't matter how much you sell, you still have to control your costs around it. You still have to think exactly along the same lines as any other business about how you're going to make profit. You need to be able to read your financial reports and have access to financial reports or manage your human resources infrastructure. It doesn't matter if it's one or two people. The same laws of the Company Act, the Human Relations Act still applies to that business. So yeah, sure, maybe it's less in numbers, maybe it's smaller in size of numbers perhaps, but it's still the same approach towards making that business work on paper.
And Egg, just to sort of backtrack, just to ask you this as well. When we look at just general support structures, and we're talking now of a very, very small business, a young person who's watching this now would like to sort of turn their hobby into a career. How difficult is it to start a business? How difficult is it? And especially considering we know now age doesn't really play a number, or part of it. How difficult is it just to getting your feet off the ground, getting that support? How difficult is it?
Yeah, so my answer to that will be that it starts with the actual entrepreneur. He will determine how difficult it is for him. So in a roundabout way, for me, if people have energy and they exude that energy about their product, their brand, their hope, their aspirations, it's infectious. It infects other people. So supporting structures around you, like funding organizations, banks, perhaps other experts, supply chains, people that need to work with you in realizing your dream, they will look at you at how you feel about your dream. If you are not showing the right energy, if you're not showing the right will and intent to make it work, why must I bother with you? It's the modern era of running business today. To design things like a logo for your business is dead easy. All it takes is really just logging onto a platform, dead simple. You just have to dream through it and share it perhaps with somebody around you. So the willingness to work with other experts in the marketplace is available, and it's readily available in today's day and age. It doesn't cost much money, and you just have to exert yourself. You have to take that first step, and you have to measure your approach. So again, the first step you take, make sure you understand what it costs you. If you have to go and buy a laptop, that laptop is going to cost you a few thousand rand. Where's that money going to come from? Oh, you're going to put the money into the business. You registered yourself a little business. That becomes a loan to your business. Your business owes you that money back. It's not a freebie suddenly buying a laptop, as an example. So there are these little step-by-step actions one can take. One can Google how to start a business, and you'll get a pile of answers back. My approach to this will be, it always starts with yourself. Do the basic things and make sure you share with people around you, and you put people closer to you to soundboard for you, to be with you. A lot of free advice out there, and free meaning in the context of people, they have got a cost against it, but they don't necessarily charge you for that.
Yeah.
Make use of those services.
You know what, I like what you're saying, and we've actually got a live question from our social media feed as well, and this is from Nona Noma Gugu Matungwa. So thank you very much for your question. I want to pose this question to you because it says, I have a business idea, and what kind of services does OptiGrowth then have for somebody like me? If you just have the idea, can you already start joining somebody with just a business idea and sort of push them in the directions that you want to go?
All right, so we're very keen to talk to people with ideas because that's what makes us tick as well. So OptiGrowth, as we are now, we like to learn more, we like to understand more what is available in the outside world. So they're welcome to give us a call, and we will go through the idea with them and guide them towards where they need to actually start looking at those first step actions, second, third, 5-step actions, such as registering a business, opening up a bank account, and all those sort of things. If they need help with it, we're more than available to assist and getting some of these things done. What people do need to have is, why do they want to do this? So if they have got a bee in a bonnet to do a particular aspect of life, sell something in particular, why are they actually doing it? Their own reasons.
Yeah. So basically what you are saying, it doesn't matter where your business is, even if it's just in the infancy stage and primarily just an idea even, then definitely come and have a knock on OptiGrowth's door.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than welcome. We don't see making money as an idea to do business. Then you can just work at the stock exchange. When you start a business and you want to play that leadership role to drive your business forward for all the years to come and really build something out of nothing, you have to have a fundamental reason why you're doing it. And the money component of it is just down the line somewhere of importance. Not that it's not important. We don't make money, we're not going to survive. But quite often, and I often come across this, where people forgot why they started a business. And we can bring it back to originally. Nikkei started a business for a very specific reason. Nikkei is a customer of mine. And if I think of the times that we had together, how often we navigate back, guys, remember, why are we doing this? You know, why are we going to struggle through? Why are we going to put more money in business? Why are we going to draw dividends now? What are we going to do with our business forward, you know? So it's got to be around that person's value system. And then I'm more than easy to talk to people. It's when I sense that people have the value systems have not been explored, and they're focusing perhaps on the money component too much, I will say to them straight out, look, I'm not your guy. There are other people who can help you.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that, Henk. That is so true. I can speak of experience, having to be one of your clients. That is true. Our values is quite close to our hearts. On values as well, you know what? Damien was supposed to be here with us today, and he's such a good example at the end of the day on having to be one of the younger youth and having to want to start his own business as well, and then obviously joining OptiGrowth eventually and being in partnership with you. Would you like to speak a little bit about Damien?
Yes, yeah. So Damien has been my business partner for pushing 15 years now as a partner in a family trust, a beneficiary, a trustee. He's been involved in a variety of investments, properties, and other kinds of things as a subset of our core businesses. And Damien has always brought he's 34 years old now, and he's bringing a typical young, fresh look at some of the aspects. He's also a learned scholar, so he's done his varsity degrees, and he brings that knowledge base, perhaps the theory around a particular aspect of business, very much to the front. So as OptiGrowth, we basically found how to hone the entrepreneurial thinking of a younger generation to me, as I say, to be the older generation. How do we bring it together? And first and foremost, me as the founder of my businesses and as I would say, the patriarch of the family, I had to allow people to tell me, to have the comfort to actually tell me when they differ from me. I had to allow myself to criticize myself and to think, but hang on, maybe I can improve this, maybe I can do something better here. And if I look back on some of the successes we've had, Damien, our customers who are younger, some of our experts who are working in the industry, it's absolutely critical that you don't lose touch. You know, one thing that the COVID pandemic has brought to light is how many people were not IT literate enough to run their businesses remote. So think about what you guys have done today, running Mahala Monday. It's a pure technology basis on which we're actually running this whole forum today, and at which we're having this chat. Now, in that, there is technology and things that people will understand perhaps to be of a younger generation. They're not familiar with some of the latest terms, and you have to adapt to that to allow it in. So for Damien, he's a business partner of ours. He's on the board of directors of a few of our companies, and unfortunately can't be here today. But the way that have molded family around it could be another thinking. A lot of people start entrepreneurial companies and employ family. So we're well aware that it's all about performance. Just because you're a family member, son, brother, sister, mother, whatever it is, we have to actually fall on within a structure. So Damien's got a job title, job rank as I have, and we work every day at building our business career as a separate consideration to our family career as well.
I like what you say, because there's always that sort of, and let's really call it a misconception, you know, and a sort of, I don't even want to say an old wives' tale, but there's always, you kind of grew up with a saying, don't go into business with family or friends, you know. But I like what you said, because the targets are clear, your objectives are clear, you've got a clear path, and it doesn't matter who's in with you, you are sticking to the route that is sort of outlined, and you're trying to meet those objectives.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I think in South Africa, you know, we have an opportunity to look after families because we have such a large population of entrepreneurs, of people who are willing to work hard at getting somewhere. In the Western Cape in particular, it is just exploding with entrepreneurship and customers starting off, people starting off from nowhere. And in that event, they rely heavily on family values. They rely heavily on family infrastructure. And there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, those people often have the best opportunity to make their business success. They need to just understand that people have to play their part in business. They can't be in business just because of family. They have to be in business with you because they actually contribute in a very specific focused area of your business. And that they actually act like an employee or a partner or a business investor, and not just like a family member.
If you've just joined us, thank you very much for watching Mahala Monday. Today with us is Henk Stander from OptiGrowth, of course, and they offer all sorts of support and the assistance and guidance that you need for your business. And it does not matter at what level your business is. If you're just starting out, or you have been in business for many a moon, we can all use that extra little help. And it is really great getting it from OptiGrowth as well. They're definitely the people you got to go to. And if there's any question or any comment that you have, then please put it on our social media platform at Nikkei Productions, and we'll gladly pose that question for you today. So let's start off here quickly, and I want to get into a bit of nitty-gritty here. Starting your own business, the things to consider, but I want to even break it down further. I'm a person, for instance, if we can use this example, I've been baking cakes and all sorts of treats at my house, and making jams and all these sort of things for many a moon, and it's gotten to the point now where I've got loads of offloads every week. So it's 100 cakes a week, and I've been toying with the idea of starting a business. How do you go about starting your own business? How do you actually get it going?
Yes, so by the time that you realize you can actually expand beyond your house to a market out there that needs your product more, like your baking goods, your business has already started, and you need to recognize that. You already have got a skill that you have developed into a sellable entity. You made a product out of it, so you already have got a business structure. You may not just have realized it. So the key thing to remember is there already a product that you have, and you should be able to put that product into context. There are already costs against that product. Buying maize meal, buying kinds of ingredients to your product, having to have a stove, an oven to which you bake, those things cost money. So if you want to expand and you want to actually start opening up a shop, or you want to even work from home, but just a bigger customer base, then you're going to have clarity on what the cost is that you're going to have to maintain. The market, you already have a feel for the market, and now you need to take the next step forward. And part of that will be you have to have people helping you. So if you're going to bake the cake, as well as icing it, as well as packaging it, as well as delivering it, as well as running back home to invoice, then have to collect the money, then worry about SARS where you have to pay money to, then you have to worry about the administration, it's going to kill you. So a number of people that we meet during the course of developing the business from entrepreneurship into a bit of a more formal structure, the guys struggle to have that scaling component under the knee. So what they do is they work themselves so much into business that they're trapped. They can't get out of it. And a good way to not be trapped is to actually step back regularly, measure where your challenges are, and then put in the different aspects, those focus areas we talked about. Do your financial management on an accounting system. Don't do it on an Excel spreadsheet. Banks, FNB, Netbank, they offer free at no charge accounting systems for you to start off with. To get a license on the QuickBooks or any other Sage, any other kind of accounting system is not really expensive anymore. Tutorials all over the internet to help you how to run your accounting system. So get it done. Don't start your business and down the line, 4 months down the line, you now realize that you actually need an accounting system. Have a separate bank account to your current bank account. Do not blend your personal bank account with your business bank account. As soon as you can, register your company and make sure you register the bank account with that and then keep control of it. You are not your business. You are actually the owner of the business. You may be a director on the board, but you need to separate the two entities immediately. So those are the things that come up immediately as key aspects one can think of. And then, of course, be true to yourself. If you enjoy being a chef, you enjoy caking and baking cakes and selling it off to customers and the tasting component of it, then exude that in your discussions. You talk to customers, tell them how much you enjoyed it, because that's what customers buy into. They can buy cakes mostly anywhere. It's a commodity. Why must they buy from you? And you need to bring through your own true self.
And you sort of touching on something there, Hank, that I just want to sort of clear with you as well. And you said if you're the chef, are you saying if I'm the chef and I'm the person making the cakes, I'm the chef de partie, doing all the baking goods as well, if that is my skill set, and in terms of offloading it, selling it, or marketing it, it's not really my strong point, are you saying get somebody whose strong point or fits that sort of job description a bit more naturally? Because in essence, if you think about it, that is really, apart from any entrepreneur, I suppose they want to grow their business, but there's always that constant thing in the back of the mind. You want to get other people involved. You want to grow the business. You want to grow the economy as such. So how important is it to do that?
Yeah, so delegation is absolutely critical, and generally speaking, entrepreneurs shy away from delegation processes. First and foremost, they think they can do it themselves. Secondly, they think it costs money, so I can't afford to appoint a delivery guy. I can't afford to buy a car now. I can't afford to do this because I first need to bake and sell enough. So at some stage, you need to take a risk. Okay, so business is all about risk, like any good business, and you need to plan. So if you know that you're particularly going to bake a certain amount of cakes, but you don't have the capacity to deliver it, then make use of a delivery service. Outsource it if you have to in the meantime. Understand what the cost is, and as you start maturing your business, you may then say, well, right, I've outsourced that enough now. Now I can appoint a delivery guy to actually go and do deliveries specifically for me. Just by the way, while the guy's delivering it for me, you can also do some other work. Maybe you can pack the cakes for me when there's a downtime. So you can start combining the jobs, and you can start delegating some of the general workload away from yourself as the chef, and focus where your best values lie, baking and doing what you love. Yeah. Quite often people get trapped in this. That chef starts getting so overworked that he loses the love for his business, and customers feel that, so people see that in you, and then your business starts struggling.
You know what, and I like the fact that as a business grows, of course, you keep learning, because the challenges are new. They're constantly evolving, and you shouldn't be afraid to ask questions, as you touched on. And of course, if you plan properly, there's no such thing as overnight success. It is a constant work that pays dividends.
Yeah, no, for sure. So those key elements that we're looking at now they're actually for any size business that wants to scale itself from an entrepreneurship into a small to a medium enterprise kind of scale and growth. So as I said, financial planning and financial management is just critical. Don't wait with it. Make sure that you get yourself on grips with that. Nowadays, accountants are very different positioned to previous years when we dealt with accountants. Rhoda will tell you that she does her own bookkeeping, and what was a fearful approach in the beginning, perhaps, Rhoda, if I speak for yourself there, but what was perhaps like a mountain in front of you has been very much automated by using good tools and then discipline. You reconcile your books once a day, once a week, at least twice a month, and suddenly you've got a profit and a loss statement, you've got a balance sheet. And there are ample people other experts around that will teach you how to do these things within a very short space of time. It doesn't cost money. And that brings you to the scaling and growth of your products. How do you actually now take that cake that you bake and start doing other aspects around it, cake sickles as an example, putting on a little ice cream in a little cycle, like a little sticky, and start making cakes like that. So you branch off into different and scale your products and services to attack the market a bit wider. The risk around it is, people have a customer and they get stuck on perhaps at one customer as the only income stream. So around risk, we very carefully assess the business and make sure they don't risk themselves against customers, suppliers, employees. Cash flow speaks for itself. Cash is king, as we all know, and there's a big difference between showing profit in your business and cash in the bank. And that's perhaps another aspect where entrepreneurs very often don't focus. Cash in your bank is not necessarily your profit on your profit and loss statement. There's a big difference between the two. If you want a valuable business, imagine you bake that cake and you sell it off, and tomorrow you need to bake another cake and another 10 cakes, another 10 cakes, and you don't have any standing orders. Your business is at risk. What you actually want is you want to sign somebody up for a 6-month or a year contract where they will place an order with you every day or every week, and we call that recurring revenue. So that's another focus point. As you start maturing your business, secure your income streams as well. Get an annuity income to your business. Understand your competition, make yourself different, differentiate yourself from the opposition. Again, why must they buy from you with your beautiful cakes, not somebody else? Customer service, we all talk about often, we think we know that we deliver a good product, we give good service, that the customer will be satisfied. That's old news. We don't want to have satisfied and loyal customers as our final goal. Sure, they must be there. What we want is we actually want referral customers that will refer us to somebody. Okay? We're talking here today to you guys because Rhoda and Alfonso are referral customers of OptiGrowth. They refer us to opportunities beyond what a loyal and a satisfied customer do. And then succession planning, that stems from also delegation processes. When you start delegating people in your company structure, you actually start developing a hierarchy of who is doing what in your business, job ranks, and eventually you'll be able to step away a bit and drive your business strategically. And in that event, start connotating value to your business, because ultimately that's what you want. Like you have your house, you have a house, you maintain and fix your place so as to stay with the market value. Same with your business. You work on your business and you obtain a market value that you can decide what to do with. Maybe you want to hand it down to the next generation. Maybe you want to buy partnerships in there, people buy into your business as partners, or you maybe want to sell the business one day. But you want to have the options, and that's where OptiGrowth will focus on that control and freedom. Okay? And it sounds like a very complicated, but these things actually mature itself in your process from an entrepreneurship, that startup business, right through to a sellable business.
Yeah, that's so true, Henk. And like you have said, financial planning at the end of the day, especially, what are you using? Coming from a pastel to Sage Cloud, as having to make 100% sure you as the owner actually understand your financials, understand what you're talking about, and actually look at your forecast, look at what you're planning. It is vital, it's so important, and that's something I have learned via OptiGrowth, and I want to thank OptiGrowth for that as well. And you know what, at the end of the day, it's you as a business owner thinking that you can start a business. There is so many processes involved, and I mean, I've spoken to so many entrepreneurs in this time as well with COVID, that the TERS funding and that was a bit of an issue where they couldn't get funding from government, from the UIF, because they weren't compliant, and compliancy at the end of the day has been something you've drummed into our heads. Make sure your financials are correct, do your reconciliation, everyone. And it's things like this that we need to give to, the entrepreneurs out there thinking that they can start a business, not realizing, Dougal, what I found is you spend more time on admin sometimes in actual fact on actually trying to run your business. So, where you're saying delegate, you basically also then have to give off some of that, extend your staff, in photography business, get your photographers in line, and with me concentrating on my finances. So that's so true, Henk. Just a quick one, we do have somebody on our social media, Aaliyah Jacobs. She wanted to know, could OptiGrowth help me in seeking funding?
Yes, so we participate in a number of funding programs where the corporate environments or government institutions will actually provide funds or grants or loans or a variety of these things. And they will then make use of OptiGrowth services to actually develop the beneficiaries to those funds. In my view, the funding should be for the right reasons. So horses for courses. First and foremost, ask yourself, why do you need funding? Because that's the first thing that a funding organization will tell you. And then secondly, what type of funding do you need? Do you need a loan at a very low interest rate? Are you prepared to pay back? Do you actually need a grant because you can't afford loans? To what extent is your startup planned to be getting off the ground? So there are many funding organizations around that one can approach, but I will not put my name and my reputation on such an application if that business, first and foremost, is not showcasing why they need to be in business. Why do they want to be in business? What is it that drives them? And then that compliance you talked about, Rhoda, if they are a registered business, have they got any financial history? So quite often people will look at a 3-year history of financials for smaller startups, people that have just entered the market. If they can indicate already that they have got an accounting system in place whereby they will reconcile their books and they can provide monthly management accounts, that is already a good step forward. To obtain a empowerment scorecards or to obtain tax certificates, these things are relatively easy today. There's no problem in getting it. That's quick, but one has to be compliant to move forward. And then, of course, people would like a business plan. They want to know, what are your plans to grow forward? I'm not a big fan of the old way of doing business plans. I think it's it's overinvestment perhaps in many cases. People use a business plan and leave it in a drawer, don't focus on it again. So we develop business models with entrepreneurs and then work those models. We do benchmarks where they are now and where they want to go. And we then sell that as a growth plan back into that structure who's willing to provide funding. So we approach it a bit differently, and it seems to be working quite well.
Henk, I like what you're saying, because that indicates a sort of the fluidity that you have, because if you think how quickly lockdown happened under COVID circumstances, and we still sort of really in the grips and it probably will be for a long time. I mean, things changed very, very quickly for businesses, and a lot of businesses were looking at sort of business rescue options and everything. But having said that, if I'm a potential client of OptiGrowth, how long do you walk with me that road until we achieve the certain goals? Do we then set new goals? How long would you be with me?
Yeah, so there's no quick fixes for us in business. Things take time, and for that purpose, I've heard many stories about millionaires and people that make quick money. I haven't met one personally in my life. I've never met one. I don't know if you guys have. I read about him. So for us, it's in for the long haul, and we from day one we make it very clear. People, when they tie up with us, it's for the long road. We're not into it for the quick hour or two, make a quick little bit of money out of a quick engagement, and even things like 3 and 6 month journeys with a customer. We understand why people perhaps want to do that, but then we're not for you. What we're doing is we tie in for the long period, and we grow the business, and then we measure it. From day one, we know who's going to do what, and we put ourselves goals in place to measure, and we reach those goals, or if we don't reach them, how do we need to realign, readdress them? And we talk hard, frank, transparent, and we put the cards on the table, and we fight it together. So our role is at a higher level of consultancy engagement, if you can call it that. We actually work with that business owner who's committed themselves to the nth degree in their business plans and their business aspirations, and we stand next to them. We work with them in that way. So there's no timeline other than just in for a long haul.
You know what?
It's 11.
I could definitely talk to you the whole day, because just talking to you, I'm gonna start a business. I don't know what yet, but I'm doing it now. Just listening to you, that's how I feel. But how would people get in touch with OptiGrowth? What is the easiest and most effective way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so we've got a few telephone numbers on the screen there, but also just drop us a line at hello@OptiGrowth, our email address. Just reach out to us. All we need to know is a little bit about you. Of course, your contact details. But it will help if you have a profile of some sort so they can kind of check you out a bit, So I want to know that you've done some work about putting yourself out there. LinkedIn is a good idea to direct us to your profile. Of course, Facebook as well. Any other social profile, or maybe a biography or a little bit of bio detail that you have about yourself, attach it to the email, and then we'll get back to you to set up an arrangement.
And Henk, just to wrap it up, sadly so we've reached that point, but just to wrap it up, what sort of basic advice would you give any sort of aspiring entrepreneur and even a current business?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a harsh one, but there's a motto by which I test myself and I've lived for many years, and that is, if you don't make a difference, you don't matter.
Wow.
Wow. That's sweet and short. That's me even got me most wanting to start a business right now.
but consider it, guys, you don't want to deal with the same old. If there's opportunity for me to go and buy a product, and it's just the same old thing, it's just no enticement, why will I buy it from you? If I meet somebody that's really differentiated themselves, that make me think differently about buying a product from them, where will my natural go-to be? So in this modern world where there are so many entrepreneurs, the competition is so rife, you have to differentiate yourself. There's just no question about it. And if you're not prepared to do that, and it doesn't mean it's a wrong or right thing, do not take the risk then to go and start a business. Differentiate yourself and work hard and deal with people like ourselves and other experts in the market to find how can you differentiate yourself, what more can you think about. It's all part of working together in this economy of ours.
No, I quite like that. So Henk, thank you very much for your time, for joining us today on Mahala Monday. It has been really, really insightful, and of course, I like the things that you said. We've got a real entrepreneurial spirit in this country. There's a lot of people with great ideas, and we're constantly evolving. And let's be honest, we've got to pat ourselves on the back as well. We've made it through, even in COVID times. This has been going on for a while as well. And we're constantly reinventing ourselves, and our resilience is strong. And of course, with some guidance and assistance from you with OptiGrowth as well, we can only go from strength to strength. Really, the sky's the limit in this. So thank you very much for being part of this.
Yeah, I must say, Henk, always inspired whenever I'm done talking to you, and always wanting to take on the world when I'm done chatting to you. Thank you for always being there and giving me that extra oomph, and and with Mahala as well, you've always been there behind us, supporting us at Nikkei. And you know what? Thank you from all of us here at Nikkei.
No, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for hosting me today. Much appreciated.
That is Henk Stander joining us here on Mahala Monday, and we were talking things all OptiGrowth. This is where they assist you, and I got to be honest with you, my mind has really gone open, just listening to Henk and sort of talking to him as well. And I'm sure that there might be a question that you have. Now, the good news for you is, of course, anything that you want to know about OptiGrowth, and more importantly, how do you get in touch with them? Simply go to their website, www.optigrowth.co.za, and you can speak to wonderful people like Henk Stander, of course, and they are with you. And I like the fact that he said they're with you in the long haul, which means, of course, they help you achieve your goals, and that is what you want. We all know the challenges are different from business to business. You can sort of attest to that as well, and it's constantly reinventing yourself. But the good news for you is you have a partner, you have somebody to take you by the hand like OptiGrowth. Whatever you haven't even thought of, they will know.
They will know for sure. Thank you so much, Henk. Really appreciate taking the time out to sit and chat to us today. Thank you.
So that brings us to the end of this edition of Mahala Monday. Of course, don't forget, we're always going to try and bring you exciting episodes and everything you would like to know. Now, of course, you can simply go to @Nikkei Productions. We're on YouTube and Facebook. And remember, like and subscribe, of course, and hit the bell so you get notifications of all future episodes. And we're definitely looking forward to bringing you another informative session here on Mahala Monday. So once again, thank you very much to Henk Stander from OptiGrowth who joined us this morning and shared some insights, and especially in the support and helping you as a business. But that wraps it up from me, and Rhoda. So until next time, thank you very much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.